General Hospital spoilers for Friday, April 11th, reveal that Anna faces Emma in a tense conversation in the living room of the apartment they are staying in. Anna's gaze is filled with worry and confusion as she looks directly into her granddaughter's eyes. The new revelation that Emma may have joined the WSB is creating a heavy atmosphere, full of unanswered questions. With her experience in intelligence, especially with the WSB, Anna knows better than anyone the dangers this organization can bring to those involved. When Emma finally admits that she secretly joined the WSB, Anna's face shifts from concern to shock that is impossible to hide. This realization is a new shock for Anna as she realizes her granddaughter has walked the same path she once did, a path filled with danger, betrayal, and difficult decisions. This shock comes not only from her concern for Emma's safety but also from the realization that her granddaughter has been pulled into a world by Brennan, Anna's old enemy, a world Anna has tried to protect Emma from for years. Anna knows better than anyone the traps and tactics Brennan can use to control and manipulate his agents, and Emma falling into his hands is something Anna cannot accept. This marks a shift as Anna must adjust how she views her granddaughter. Emma is no longer the girl Anna needs to protect. She has become a young woman with her own confidence and decisiveness, ready to face the challenges and dangers the WSB brings. Anna begins to understand that rather than trying to pull Emma out of the WSB, she must support and guide her in this new world, helping her avoid the mistakes Anna herself made in the past. This proves to be one of the major dilemmas for Anna as she is torn between protecting her granddaughter and respecting her decision. Anna knows that Emma has seen her potential in the WSB and wants to establish herself as a talented agent, not just as the granddaughter of a legend. But at the same time, Anna worries about the dangers Emma may face, especially with Brennan at the helm of the WSB. This dilemma deepens as Anna realizes Emma didn't just join the WSB to become an agent but also to learn about her family's past and perhaps to bring down Brennan from the inside. As the conversation between Anna and Emma continues, both realize they are in a difficult situation. Emma wants to prove she can stand firm in the WSB world, while Anna wants to protect her granddaughter from the dangers she's experienced. This confrontation is not just about the WSB and Brennan but also about the love and trust between these two strong women. And as they try to find a common solution, all of Port Charles is waiting to see if they can overcome their differences and face the challenges ahead together. Willow is stunned when Nina presents evidence of Drew's crimes, her face paling as documents and photos are spread out on the table in front of her. Each piece of evidence feels like a knife to the trust Willow had placed in Drew, the man she had once considered one of the most trustworthy members of the Quartermain family. The story about one of the new shocks begins as Willow must face the truth that Drew, the man Michael has always seen as an ally, who has supported them in many tough situations, may have been involved in illegal and even dangerous activities. Nina, whom Willow had once seen as an enemy and later reluctantly accepted as part of her life after learning she was her biological mother, is now standing before her with undeniable evidence of Drew's crimes. This creates a new sense of control in their relationship. Nina is no longer just the woman trying to insert herself into Willow's life but has become a protector, someone who has risked everything to uncover the truth and share it with her daughter, even though she knew it would cause pain. Willow, with her careful and cautious nature, begins to examine each piece of evidence Nina presents. She doesn't want to jump to conclusions but cannot deny that what Nina is showing her appears to be very authentic. One of the new shifts in Willow's thoughts begins as she considers confronting Michael about these discoveries. She knows Michael won't easily accept the truth about Drew, especially when it comes from Nina, someone he still has many doubts about. This sets off one of the most significant changes in the relationship between Willow, Michael, Drew, and Nina. Willow faces a tough decision. Should she trust Nina and the evidence she's presented, or should she place her trust in Drew, the man her family has relied on for years? This decision will not only affect her personal relationships but could also impact the safety of Wiley and the entire Quartermain family. As Willow continues to review the evidence, she begins to realize that Nina may have been right all along, Drew may have been manipulated by Ezra, and his actions could have put the entire family in danger. This realization shakes the foundation of Willow's trust and forces her to reconsider everything she once believed. And as she tries to understand all of this, Nina stands beside her, ready to support her daughter in this difficult moment, a sign of maternal love that Willow had once doubted. As the conversation between Willow and Nina continues, both realize they are in a dangerous position. Drew, with his power and influence, may not be easily exposed, and making this evidence public could put both of them at risk. However, they also know that if they don't act, many innocent people could be harmed. Willow, with the courage and decisiveness she's developed over the years of facing challenges, knows that she must take action, not only to protect her family but also to ensure that justice is served. And when Willow finally makes her decision, she knows that nothing will ever be the same. Her relationship with Michael, Nina, and the entire Quartermain family will change forever. But she also knows that sometimes, to protect the ones you love, you have to face the truth, no matter how painful it may be. Kai brings Trina surprising news, his eyes filled with both excitement and a hint of anxiety as he shares his latest decision. Kai has accepted Drew's offer of sponsorship for his surgery, an opportunity Kai has been waiting for but never had the financial means to pursue. This is a major turning point in Kai's life, a chance to undergo the transformation he's long desired, but it's also a decision that places him in a complicated relationship with one of the most powerful figures in Port Charles. This creates a new danger as Trina realizes that Drew does not make such offers without hidden motives. She knows that Drew, under Ezra's influence, has become increasingly manipulative and dangerous, and his sudden interest in Kai is certainly not due to pure goodwill. Trina tries to explain her suspicions to Kai, about how Drew has changed in recent months and how he has used others to achieve his goals. Kai, though understanding of Trina's concerns, still finds it hard to turn down this opportunity. For him, the surgery is not just about his appearance but about living as his true self, and this chance seems too good to pass up. Kai explains that he has thought it through carefully and set clear boundaries with Drew. He will accept the sponsorship for the surgery but will not get involved in any illegal activities. However, Trina cannot shake her worry. She knows that Drew can be very subtle in manipulating others, and Kai, with his strong desire for the surgery, could easily become a target. She also fears that Drew might use the sponsorship as leverage to control Kai in the future, forcing him to do things he doesn't want to. As the conversation between Kai and Trina continues, both realize they are stepping into dangerous territory. Drew, with his power and influence, could be a formidable opponent if Kai decides to go against him. But at the same time, Kai can't pass up this opportunity, a chance to finally become the person he's always wanted to be. The danger truly escalates as Trina starts connecting the dots and realizes that Drew may be using Kai as part of a bigger plan. With Kai's position at the hospital and his relationships with several medical staff, Drew might be trying to gain access to sensitive medical information or even drugs and equipment he wouldn't have access to otherwise. Kai, despite his good intentions, could unwittingly become a pawn in Drew's power game. Trina, with her strong and straightforward personality, decides that she won't let Kai face this danger alone. She offers to support him through the surgery and will also help him monitor any unusual requests from Drew. She also decides to inform Portia, her mother, who is also a doctor at the hospital, about the situation, hoping she can assist if necessary. As Kai leaves with his final decision, Trina cannot shake the deep sense of worry. She knows that Drew is not an easy opponent, and accepting his offer could open a door to dangers neither of them has yet encountered. But she also knows that this is Kai's decision, and she will support her friend, no matter what happens. And as Port Charles continues to witness Drew and Ezra's schemes, Trina and Kai will have to be more careful than ever to avoid becoming their next victims. Jason is interfering too much in Carly's personal life, a behavior that has already become a hallmark of their complex and long-standing relationship, but now it has crossed the line that Carly is willing to accept. Since returning to Port Charles, Jason has taken it upon himself to monitor every decision Carly makes, from whom she chooses to date, how she runs Metro Court, to how she raises Jocelyn. At first, Carly saw this as a sign of deep care and friendship between them, but recently, she started to feel as if Jason is trying to control every aspect of her life. Jason, with his protective nature, always feels responsible for ensuring Carly and her family's safety. However, after coming back from his fake death, he seems to have brought with him a new sense of urgency. A stronger need to control, to make sure that the people he loves don't experience any pain. This has led to increasingly intrusive actions, such as monitoring Carly's calls and messages, checking her schedule without permission, and even arranging for security personnel to follow her without her knowledge. This is making Carly genuinely angry as she realizes that Jason is not only trying to protect her but also attempting to make decisions for her. The final straw comes when Carly discovers that Jason has quietly investigated John, the man she started dating, and even approached him with threats disguised as advice. Jason dug into John's past, uncovering some financial issues from years ago, and used this information to pressure him, implying that if John didn't treat Carly well, Jason would make those problems public. Carly, who has always prided herself on her independence and ability to make her own decisions, feels as though Jason is undermining her judgment and treating her like a child who needs protection, not a grown woman who has weathered many ups and downs in life. She has rebuilt her life multiple times, overcome unimaginable challenges, and proven she can stand on her own 2 feet. Jason's failure to recognize this strength deeply hurts Carly. Her anger not only comes from Jason's actions but also from the realization that perhaps he is trying to keep her close, preventing her from moving on after her breakup with Sonny. For a long time, their relationship has existed in a gray area between friendship and love, with unresolved feelings always lurking beneath the surface. Carly begins to wonder whether Jason is acting in her best interest or for selfish reasons. Perhaps he doesn't want to see her happy with another man, or maybe he feels his position in her life is threatened. This anger is pushing Carly toward a difficult decision, whether to set clear boundaries with the man she once considered her best friend and most trusted ally. When Carly finally decides to confront Jason about this issue, she chooses a quiet evening at her house, after making sure Jocelyn and Donna are asleep to avoid any interruptions. She has prepared herself for this conversation, knowing it won't be easy but also knowing it's necessary to protect her autonomy and save their friendship. When Jason arrives, Carly wastes no time with small talk and goes straight to the point. Their conversation quickly becomes tense. Carly holds nothing back in expressing her frustration and hurt, while Jason, with his usual calm demeanor, tries to explain that he only wants to protect her from dangers she might not see. He reminds her of the times in the past when his intervention saved her from dangerous situations, and how he's always been there to support her when she needed it. But this time, that reason isn't enough for Carly. She points out that there's a big difference between supporting someone when they ask for help and imposing help on them without being invited. Carly also forces Jason to face his true motives. She bluntly asks if he's jealous of John and whether he feels threatened by the possibility that Carly could build a happy life without him. Jason, unaccustomed to being challenged so directly, initially denies the accusations. But as Carly continues to press him, he finally admits that perhaps he's been overprotective and that part of him is afraid of losing his place in her life. The conversation deepens as they both begin to discuss the unresolved feelings between them. Jason admits that returning and seeing Carly moving on with her life has been harder than he expected, while Carly acknowledges that his return has brought back emotions she had tried to leave behind. But they both agree that no matter what those feelings are, they don't justify Jason's interference in Carly's present life. In the end, Carly asks Jason to respect her space and her decisions, even if he doesn't agree with them. She makes it clear that she still wants him in her life, that she still sees him as a close friend and important ally, but that their relationship has to be based on mutual respect, not control. And as Jason reluctantly agrees, both of them know that their relationship will never be the same again. It will need to evolve into something new, something that better reflects the people they have become and the lives they are currently living. As Carly walks away from the conversation, she feels both relieved and anxious. Relieved because she's finally said what she's been feeling, but anxious because she doesn't know if Jason will truly respect the boundaries she's set. She knows that old habits die hard, especially for someone like Jason, who has spent his life protecting those he cares about. But she also knows that if their friendship has any chance of surviving in the future, he will need to learn to let go of some of these controlling behaviors. In the days following their conversation, Carly begins to notice a small change in Jason's behavior. He no longer shows up unannounced at Metro Court or at her house, and when they talk, he seems to be trying harder to listen and impose his opinions less. These are small steps, but they give Carly hope that maybe they can find a way for their friendship to continue, even if it has to change and grow. And as Port Charles watches this relationship evolve, Fans will have to wait and see if Carly and Jason can find a new balance in their friendship or if Jason's interference will ultimately push Carly further away. One thing is certain. The relationship between these two iconic characters will remain one of the central driving forces of General Hospital, and how it develops will have a far-reaching impact on many other characters in town. Sasha is having interactions with Danny. Encounters that initially seemed harmless have gradually evolved into a special relationship between the experienced woman and the teen who is in a stage of searching for his identity. But the new story is truly exploding as Danny begins to see Sasha not just as a friend but also as a source of information and an ally in his own plan involving his father, Jason. Danny, the son of Jason Morgan and Sam McCall, grew up in the shadow of his father's reputation, a former assassin and Sonny Corinthos' right hand. When Jason returned to Port Charles after a long absence, Danny was no longer the innocent child Jason once knew. Instead, he had become a teenager with complex thoughts and feelings about the man who had missed so many years of his life. This is proving that Danny is truly becoming obsessed with the idea of reclaiming what he believes is his right, not rights to wealth or status, but the right to know the truth about his father. Sasha, with her own tumultuous past and losses, has become someone Danny feels he can trust. She has listened to his story, his complicated feelings about Jason, and his growing curiosity about the world his father once belonged to. Sasha, knowing all too well the dangers of that world from personal experience, has tried to advise Danny to stay away from it. But Danny, with the stubbornness and determination of his father, is not easily persuaded. In their private conversations, Danny has revealed that he has started gathering information about Jason's past, from old newspaper articles to stories from people who knew his father. He has started to paint a picture of the man he only knew as a shadow in his life. And the more he learns, the more obsessed Danny becomes with the idea that he has the right to know every aspect of Jason's life, even the darkest parts. Sasha, noticing Danny's increasing obsession, has begun to worry that the teenager may be heading down a dangerous path. She has tried to explain to Danny that there are parts of Jason's past that are better left undisturbed, and that Jason may have kept his distance from his son to protect him from the dangerous world he used to be a part of. But Danny, with the impulsiveness of youth, does not see it that way. Instead, he feels betrayed by his father's silence and is determined to find out the truth, no matter the cost. What is truly crazy about Danny's plan is not just that he wants to know about Jason's past, but how he plans to use that information. Danny has started to form the idea that if he can prove he is worthy, if he can understand and accept every aspect of Jason's life, including the darkest parts, then maybe Jason will finally allow him into his real life, not just the safe, filtered version he's been shown. In a particularly tense moment, Danny confides in Sasha that he has found an old gun belonging to Jason, hidden in a box in the basement of the house Sam and Danny lived in after Jason died. Danny has taken the gun and started practicing shooting in a remote area outside of town, determined to become proficient with the weapon, just like his father once was. Sasha, horrified by this revelation, has tried to convince Danny to give up the gun and his plan. She has shared with him the painful consequences violence can bring and how one single decision can change a life forever. But Danny, blinded by his desire for his father's approval, refuses to listen. Instead, he demands that Sasha keep it a secret, threatening that if she tells anyone, he will deny everything and will never trust her again. Now, Sasha is caught in a dilemma between respecting Danny's trust and doing what she knows is right.